All right, we're talking March Madness because it's that time of year. We've got plenty of basketball games to dive into, and we've got a couple blue bloods going head to head in the first four matchup. We've got UCLA and Michigan State. Spartans favored -1.5. Total is 135 and a half. We've got UCLA coming in at 17-9, 12-14 against the number. Then Michigan State, of course, it's Tom Izzo. A lot of people like betting on them in March. A lot of people have won a lot of money on them in March, but I'm wondering how far you will ride that train. We've got Dan Kaiser joining us to break this one all down for us. Dan, I see you've got a Michigan State shirt on.
Well, I
But
don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But yeah, I mean
right.
it's taken me getting called off the bench and filling on a different show to finally get a team that I know. It's not only a team I know well, but my university. And wouldn't you know it, they're playing a Pac-12 team.
Of
And
course.
I just can't win for losing. But yeah, I mean this kind of game. I don't know. To be honest, I went against the Spartans against Ohio State, Illinois in the second Michigan game. So my heart's telling me I should take UCLA, so that maybe my Spartans can advance and play one more day. But I look at the Spartan team. I mean, to be honest, they struggled all year to find consistency in scoring. They've only got one person that scores in double figures, and that's Aaron Henry. Uh, they score 69 points a game. Their defense gives up 70. I mean, it's been a hard team to figure out all year. They turn the ball over too much. There's not a lot going for this team. And then I look at the Bruins. I mean, the Bruins had a decent year. They're 17-9. Good offense. 5 guys scoring in double figures. They score 72 points a game. With Nick Cronin as their coach, they play, in-your-face defense, and that could cause the Spartans a lot of problems because the Spartan team has been known to turn the ball over in bunches. Okay, let's look at trends. Trends don't help you out either. I mean, Michigan State's 7-17 against the spread in the last 24 games, 2-10 against the spread in the last 12. UCLA's 3-11 against the spread in the last 14. So I'm going to look at this. I'm just looking at this. Sparty took down 2 number 1 seeds and a number 2 seed to close out their season. So I'm hoping that team shows up and not the team that I've seen for most of the season. I'm gonna ride that train one last time. I'm gonna jump on the Izzo train and see what happens. So I'm gonna lay the 1.5 of the Spartans in this one.
Yeah, I think this is the battle of two teams that bettors really have mixed emotions on because UCLA, as good as their record is, 17-9 is pretty solid, but they went on a stretch where they were not covering any kind of games. They started 12-2 straight up, but 3-11 against the number in their last 14. And then everybody knows that Michigan State was one of the worst cover teams in all of basketball to start the year. But this past month, and I think that's one thing you should probably look at when heading into the tournament, is recency. How is this team performing, going into the tournament? And like you said, Michigan State does have those 2 really quality wins over Michigan and Illinois within the last month. And if you're talking about a level of competition, the Big Ten has been really solid this season. But I'm not sure if Michigan State should get that much credit for being in the Big Ten because they're below 500 in conference play. Looking at a total of 135.5. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of tiptoeing into the totals game when it comes to coming into the tournament. I think they're kind of tricky. Do you have any leanings there?
Yeah, I just have to look at this Michigan State team, and if they do struggle, then they just can't score at all. So I'd lean to the under in this one. I mean,
right.
As good as they played against those 3 games, I mean, they can come out and score 18 points in the first half. I mean, they really struggle sometimes. And when they struggle, they are bad. When they're good, they're very, very good, and when they're bad, they're terrible. So if I was gonna take the total, I'd lean to the under just because you can't put a lot of credence in Spartans finding scoring ability with this team.
Right. And if you don't have to take, a total, you probably shouldn't if you don't feel strongly about it. So that's going to do it for our college hoops talk. Great stuff from Dan Kaiser as always. Dan, thanks for joining us.